Before all the shiny, newer off-road truck shenanigans started on this channel, I picked up this 1987 Dodge Ram D150 from a good buddy for $1,800. It had crap brakes, old tires, a leaky engine, and blown shocks. But I was done doing all my lows and dump runs with a frickin' minivan and utility trailer. To celebrate 7 years of owning this truck, I'm going to do exactly what I bought it for, which is haul tons and tons of yard waste to the dump during my epic yearly fall cleanup. All the while, I'll go over why every dude needs an old pickup with a long bed. And maybe some of those pointers can help you persuade your spouse, wife, significant other, lady friend, partner, person, why you too need to pick up that beauty on Facebook Marketplace and be cool like me. Well, let's get to work. Huge thanks to Techron Complete Fuel System Cleaner for sponsoring this video. More on them later. Pro tip, a junky old tarp in your truck bed is going to be future you's best friend. Trust me on this. I hope this old tarp has one more use left in it. It's got a lot of rips. We'll see. Reason number one you need an old truck is because even if you have a new truck, it kind of stinks at most old-fashioned truck stuff. When it comes to hauling debris, getting a load of bark or soil, or a trip to the lumber mill, you pretty much can't beat something like my old Ram here with a long bed. I love my Tacoma, but the bed is too small, the truck is too tall, and it has tons of stuff that will get dirt and debris stuck in it, like power outlets, bed rails, and such. So even if you have one of these, I think you need one of these. I'm an enabler. Back garden area is looking great. I didn't get all of the leaves off the ground, okay? I always say, leave a few, you know, you'll get it next time. And by the way, we got all those leaves anyway, so I'll be back at this later, but you don't need to watch all that. I mean, who would watch a video about me just raking leaves? That'd be weird. Now, will my wife give me grief for parking in the truck on the front lawn? Let's find out together. Amy, how do you feel about the truck being left on the front lawn?
I don't care.
Nice.
Good answer.
That's a really good answer. Okay. Another reason to get an old truck, they're affordable to buy and to maintain. Remember, I purchased this truck for under $2,000. Again, I know times have changed since 2017, so I don't know if you could get this truck again for $2,000, especially not mine after I fixed it up. It's not for sale, for sure. But they are cheaper to buy than obviously new trucks. What really makes ownership of these trucks so cheap is how cheap and accessible parts are. And I'm talking about pretty much any of the big three, Ford, GM, or Chrysler, Dodge. I mean, you can get parts, radiators, hoses, gaskets, all that stuff. You can easily get that at any auto parts store in town, or you can get it online, Amazon, Rock Auto, places like that. You can get pretty much anything for the powertrain that you could possibly want for this. Now, when it comes to maybe restoring a truck, the more common ones, like I think pretty much the F-150 being the most common, those are the most like aftermarket supported if you needed to like get a new dash or something, or interior parts. The Dodge isn't the best for that, although I would say when it comes to maintenance and just keeping this guy on the road, I don't think you could do any better. Speaking again from experience, there's nothing worse than trying to maintain or restore a vehicle, an old vehicle, classic, that just doesn't have any part support. You do not have that issue with Dodge, you don't have that issue with Ford, and you don't have that issue with Chevy or GM either. You know, again, International Harvester, maybe you might have trouble finding parts for that. Although if you do want to rock an International Harvester as your work truck, you are a badass and I salute you. Another weekend, another Sunday. I almost got the front yard done, but we still have that big tree right there. But hey, I can't complain. A beautiful afternoon. Today was actually the end of daylight savings, so it's 4:10 and the sun is about to go down. So I guess I'll wrap it up and pick this up again tomorrow. Well, the weather is definitely taking a turn for the worst on this next day. So my only goal for today is to trim that tree. That's it. Okay, last night on my lunch break, I finally wrapped up the front area of my house here. I just don't want to have to deal with all these trees like touching each other, and this aspen tree had a couple dead branches, so I had to cut all those down. So let's play a fun game, see if I can get all of this stuff in the back of the Dodge, and maybe even some of the stuff from the backyard before having to go truck it out of here. Up until 3 years ago, I did seasonal lawn care videos. If you'd like to watch some of my best ones, I'll link them in the description. Oh, and to my kids, your pumpkins are awesome, but they're also moldy, so they're gonna go now. Sorry, Marley. Sorry, Ripley. In the backyard, we have tons of work to do. We have the giant hedge to trim. We have all these trees to trim, bushes, and then, of course, the grass to contend with, which is a whole giant load in and of itself. So last thing I'm gonna do before we hit the road is I'm gonna get rid of these 3 dead bushes right here. Next year I plan on building some sort of decorative fence or something that plants can grow off of, kind of like that fence over there. We'll see, but let's get these out of the ground. All right, it's 2 or 3 weeks later. Everything around here is now completely changed. Winter has essentially arrived. I've already driven through a couple different snowstorms, so we are running out of time to get our yard work done for the year. Why did I stop working on this project? Well, I was gone for about a week on a work trip for AEV down in Moab, and then I got back from that very, very sick. Might have been a cold, might have been plague. I don't know what it was. It doesn't really matter at this point. What matters is that I'm mostly fine, so let's get back to work. First thing we gotta do, we're gonna take this first load of yard waste to the dump where they have a big yard waste recycling spot. It's very important to secure your load when you're transporting yard waste or anything else that can blow out of the back of your truck. You really wanna make sure that you strap it down and also cover it with a tarp or a net, something like that. In Washington State, it's a $228 fine if you're caught driving around with your load unsecured or uncovered. If something were to fall out of the back of your truck and hit a car or a pedestrian or something like that, you're essentially responsible for damages plus $5,000. So we definitely are not gonna have that happen today. Another reason to get yourself an old work truck is they are an awesome gateway into doing your own vehicle maintenance, modification, restoration, that sort of thing. The reason for it, they are incredibly simple. These models were very slowly updated and changed, and they stayed kind of almost the same for decades at a time. When you open the hood on one of these, you can see where everything is. It's incredibly simple. You know, going back to my 20s, I didn't do any of this stuff myself. It took me, my wife and I kind of taking ownership of a old 1974 Volkswagen Super Beetle, where I started to kind of tinker with it. And then I would do a little bit of maintenance, and then I would do a little bit of restoration. And then I took the engine apart and put it back together again and made it run so much better than it did before. Slowly over time, my fear of messing up and ruining everything went away because I knew that this is all pretty simple stuff, and as long as I follow instructions and as long as I'm kind of logical and take my time, I can figure this stuff out. I would dare say that an old work truck like this, whether it be a Dodge, a Ford, a GM vehicle, those are a fantastic option to get your hands dirty and get your confidence up. Good morning. Just yard waste. Thank you. Whoa. I think this tarp is too old. Okay, so usually this is a good idea. All right, here's another reason to get yourself an old truck. compared to new ones, all of the tech and all of the nannies, I mean, it's actually taking away from the driving experience. I mean, am I the only person who is getting completely tired of new trucks and cars dinging at you incessantly? Like, I love my Tacoma, but that truck will not shut up. It will just ding at you and ding at you. It'll ding about this and ding about that. And look what I can do. I can take my seatbelt off and it doesn't ding at me. Oh my gosh. Leave a comment about how I should wear a seatbelt. I understand, I agree. All right, tarp, you've been replaced. Nice. An interesting thing about my 1987 Ram is that it's actually the last year you could get a carburetor. And the reason why I think I don't have a lot of carburetor issues is that I am pretty darn picky when it comes to my fuel. I like to use top tier fuel like Chevron. Also, I try to run ethanol-free gas whenever possible. The Dodge is putting in work today, so we're gonna stop at Chevron right now. We're gonna fill up the gas tank, and I'm going to add some Techron Complete Fuel System Cleaner high mileage. Especially like with my Dodge, it's about to probably sit a little bit more right now than it usually does. One of the great things about Techron High Mileage is that it stabilizes fuel, even with ethanol in it, up to 2 years. So the fact that this is gonna sit probably for the next 3 to 4 months with this tank of gas in it isn't going to cause any issues once I start using my truck more often in the spring. That's why I love using Techron High Mileage, and also they are a channel sponsor. Thank you very much, Techron, for your support of Jason Explains Things. But I did buy this stuff and use this stuff well before they started sponsoring me. That tarp is quite the upgrade. I think that'll last us for several years. Okay, so it is now 12:55 and the sun starts to go down like at 3:30, 3:45, and it's pretty much dark by 4:30. Let's see if I can finish all of what I have to do. We have tons of debris for all the bushes I trimmed back there, the hedge and mow short. Also, usually I do a dethatch and aerate, but I'm completely out of time. It's gonna be December in like 5 seconds, so I need to just finish this and pick it all up in the spring. I really wish I had time because it needs it, but let's initiate time-lapse mode and get this job done. I don't do this in the summer when the ground is soft, but once the ground is hard in the fall and winter, I love being able to just drive right on the lawn when I'm either picking up debris like I'm doing today or dropping off new bark or plants, that kind of thing. I have a question for you guys. Do you also like yard work? I don't even know why I actually enjoy it, but I still do. Okay, last 2 big reasons why you need to get yourself an old truck. Number 1, they're beautiful. I don't think any other vehicle I own, including the more expensive Toyotas or even the Beetle, gets as much attention driving around town as this does. I have been asked, is this truck for sale so many different times, sometimes just like out in front of my house, sometimes at a car wash, sometimes at the gas station. Now, the last and most important reason why I say you should get one of these trucks is they are extremely rewarding to keep on the road, to keep one of these going. This truck has been a huge part of my YouTube channel for the past 7 years, and while doing this video, I crossed that 7-year milestone. So I just want to say to you all, thank you so much for supporting what I've been doing here for the past 7 years. Again, it's extremely rewarding to keep this truck looking the way it looks and performing the way it performs, but also just to continue to share this and all the other things I do on YouTube with you. So thank you all very, very much. So until next time, God bless every single one of you, and don't forget to do it yourself. Let's try this again.